to take a moment to thank the members of the General Assembly. As you know, session ended last night, and having served in the General Assembly for 14 years, I appreciate everything they have been able to accomplish. The $290 million coming to Baltimore to address the many needs of our city is very, very significant, and I want to thank every member of our city delegation and all the members of the General Assembly that joined in to make that happen. I'm also very pleased about the criminal justice reform. We didn't get every single thing we wanted, but we made steps in the right direction. And there's so many other things that are coming to Baltimore. I want to thank certainly Senator Catherine Pugh, Senator John Conway, for all that they have done to make that happen. And again, to Mike Bush, our Speaker in the State General Assembly, and then of course, Mike Miller, the President of the Senate, my good friend. I don't know how I could forget his name. Mike's always joking. Anyway, let me tell you why I'm here. I want to, I've come here today because I am going to, and I am endorsing Catherine Pugh for me. Let me say that I'm here today because I love this city. This city is a city where my parents came back in early 1940s and established a life for their children. Two former sharecroppers with a third-grade education were able to, in this city, raise all of us so that we could become productive citizens of our great state and our nation. We all were born here, my 7 brothers and sisters. I raised my children here. I went to law school here. This city is so very important to me. And I know it is also important to Catherine Pugh. When I'm in Washington or traveling around our great country, I'm frequently introduced as a congressman from Baltimore. But the truth is, I am not just from Baltimore, I am of Baltimore. I carry this great city and its wonderful people with me everywhere I go, and definitely in my heart. And I want to see us move forward, and that's why I'm endorsing Catherine Pugh for mayor. Part of the job of any elected official is to pass legislation. Believe me, I'm very familiar with the job. Having served in the legislature for 14 years, having served in the Congress of the United States of America, one of the greatest honors of my life. For 20 years, I know what it's all about. And so we all understand that. And as the Senate Majority Leader, Catherine Pugh has a long history of passing meaningful legislation. And the thing that I think we need to keep in mind is she's not only passed meaningful legislation in Annapolis, but she also passed meaningful legislation in the City Council. And these are laws that made people's lives better. Little boys like little Elijah Cummings, so many others, so that they could grow up to be all that God meant for them to be. But being a mayor is different. Being a mayor means being a leader of an entity, a $2.6 billion entity with 13,000 employees. It means having a vision for our city and for every single person in our city. And most of all, it means committing yourself 24/7, 365 days a year, 366 days in a leap year, to lift up the lives of people. That's the reason why I'm so proud to endorse Catherine Pugh for mayor. She's experienced, she's prepared, she's knowledgeable, and she's smart. And most of all, she knows how to get things done. And that, to me, is so important. You know, we can talk, but the question is when all the dust settles, have you gotten things done? Have you made somebody's life better? Have you opened up new doors for opportunity?
Yes.
And that's Catherine Pugh.
Yes.
So, in fact, I believe her whole life has helped her become uniquely prepared for this moment. If you go back and look at her job history, everything that has happened to her up until this moment has prepared her for this moment. As a former dean at Strayer College, she knows the value of a good education, and she fully understands that a good education is the key that opens up doors of opportunity for not only our young, our middle-aged, and our older people. As you know, in our city, the highest number of people coming in are those from 18 to 34, and then those over 55. And Catherine gets it. She gets that she's got to lift all of us up, but she also hasn't forgotten about those 55 and over. I'm in that crowd. So that's very, very important. As a member of the board of the University of Maryland Medical Center, she knows how critical it is for everyone in our city to be able to get the care they need when they need it. And that is so very significant. As a former city council woman and now majority leader of the Maryland Senate, Catherine Pugh knows how to get things done. And she understands the importance of lifting up everyone, of making sure that our prosperity is shared widely across every neighborhood of our city and not just a select few. To me, that is very, very important because after the Freddie Gray incident, we had so many people to say that they felt that they were simply left out. Catherine was with me when we had a young man with on the corner, Penn and North, and she was standing there right with me when a young man came up and said, "Congressman, I feel like every day I'm laying in my caucus, in my coffin, trying to claw my way out." I will never forget that as long as I live. And I remember so distinctly Catherine Pugh embracing him and telling him that she loved him. I will never forget that. I will go to my grave remembering that. And I know that this is because she cares about so many issues. But it's one thing to care. It's another thing to be prepared to do something about it. A lot of people care. But the question is, what can you do to make a difference? On issue after issue, she's been on the front lines. Not in the back, not on the side, but in the front line. On jobs, Catherine has been the city's leading advocate for jobs for our young people. One of the things that I have always been, one of my greatest memories about Catherine, and she may not even remember this, years ago, before it was even fashionable, Catherine was calling me and other people, begging for jobs, summer jobs for children. And she is, no doubt about it, I think she's been our #1 advocate in that regard. First with the summer jobs, now with an innovative program to find jobs for every young person in Baltimore who wants to work. And I like the idea that she understands that it's just not the summer jobs, it's not just the summer internships. She's talking about year-round experiences for our children. Catherine has even developed a plan to equip buses, which she calls mobile employment centers, to go into underserved neighborhoods like the one I live in, and have employment experts match up people and their skills with existing available jobs. That's visionary, ladies and gentlemen, that's leadership. On education, Catherine doesn't just talk the talk, she walks the walk. She was the one who saw that we did not have a design school like some other cities. And so she, instead of her complaining, she rolled her sleeves up and she created a design school. Now we have the new Baltimore Design School, which I visited many times. She even had me up at about 5 o'clock in the morning when the young people were going to the White House. And that's another thing. She is trying to find ways to open up experiences for our young people. She understands that in order for our young people to achieve all that God meant for them to be, and for them to even dream it, they have to see it. And she gets that. And that's so very, very important. An innovative program that took a vacant 100-year-old factory, that is the design school, and transformed it into our first new public school in more than 30 years. I said she gets things done. One thing to talk, another thing to produce. Now, the Baltimore City students can get a first-rate education in architecture, fashion, and graphic design. In other words, what she has done is change the trajectory of their destinies. And on the public safety, Catherine's been on the front line once again, working to reimagine the way we deploy our police, making sure that we buttress the concept of community policing, understanding that the people need the police and the police need the people, and that it must be a mutual respect. And she's well going on, and she's willing to foster that and work towards that. Focusing not merely on public safety, but also in an effort to reduce the number of property crimes in our city. Because again, she cares about our way of life. Let me say something else too. Catherine, not only is she able to do all the things I just said, but she has an excellent relationship with the business community. Former Mayor Kurt Smoke said something many years ago that I will never forget. He said, I may be able to get elected without the business community, but I need them to govern. And Catherine has been able to not only be able to reach into neighborhoods like mine and lift up the young man who talked about being in his coffin, feel like he's in his coffin, but she's also able to reach to the community, the business community, and say, help him. And able to convince them to do that. Now, I could go on and on, but let me close with this. Ladies and gentlemen, we're at the crossroads. And we've got to have leadership that will bring us together. And Catherine understands, probably more than most people, that we are a diverse city. And I'm not worried about whether Baltimore will grow. I'm not worried about that. Baltimore will grow. You know, don't let anybody tell you Baltimore won't grow. But that's not the question. The question is, will we all grow together? Will we all grow together? And I am convinced that Catherine Pugh will bring us together, work hard to make sure that every single one of us reaches our God-given destiny. And finally, she does understand something else. She understands that our diversity is not our problem. It is our promise. She gets that. And that is so, so significant. And so it gives me tremendous honor. As I think about my life and I think about what I want to see for the city, I want to see a city that provides every child with the opportunities that I had. I may not even live to see it, but I want to know that I've done my little part in setting the foundation for that to happen. And I know Catherine feels the same way. Setting a foundation so that we can build it. I know Joan feels the same way. We want to build a foundation for generations yet unborn. And we all understand, and Catherine has said it many times, that this is not about the next election. This is about the next generation. So, as I close, it gives me tremendous honor to introduce you to the next mayor of the great city of Baltimore.
Congressman, let me just say first, it is indeed an honor. It is an honor. And thank you to my colleague who, we were, midnight. I was surprised to see you this morning. But let me just say it's an honor to have this endorsement. And the congressman is absolutely right. When we live the least of us, we lift all of us. And I see the glass as half full as opposed to half empty. And I believe that the role of a mayor is to build on where you are and to push the city forward. I've studied every piece of information, data, have sat down and talked to presidents of companies and corporations and universities, and I know where our city is currently. And it is important as we move the city forward that we understand where we are. You know, for the first time in 50 years, this city has a AA bond rating, and that means a great deal. Because that means that we can focus on revitalizing neighborhoods and communities that have been neglected for decades. As we stood on those corners every single day during the unrest, my message never changed. This city is not monolithic. It's made up of blacks and whites and Native Americans and Latinos and Asians, rich and poor.
Talk to us.
But the issue for Baltimore is that what this world saw was a portion of our city that had been neglected for decades. And so we have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to go into those neighborhoods and rebuild them. We have 77,000 unemployed people in our city. But yet we have jobs growing all around us. Whether it is Amazon or Social Security, we know we need a better transportation system, and we'll get there. Because it is the relationship with the state and the federal government that will help us to move this city forward. We must improve our school system, and we're getting there. Let no one tell you that we don't have some great schools in this city, but we have problems and we can fix them. We know now that teaching children at their earliest age, whether we expand beauty centers all over our city, understand that learning begins in the womb. And so it is a trajectory that we set our children on when we educate them at 6 weeks of age. It's when they open their eyes, what they see, the pictures on the wall, the music that you play. It's putting arts and culture back into our school system. When we grew up, we had safety patrols in our school system. We had art, we had music. I learned to sew in our school system. Every child does not want to go to college, but we want to prepare them, whether they want to have a career or they want to go to college. But we want to make sure that our children have every single opportunity that can be made available to them. That's what the city owes them. When we pay taxes in the city, and all of us do, when people walk out their doors, they don't want to see boarded houses. But let me just say this to you all. We've had some great programs in the city. Whether it is the Dollar House program or the Bacon's the Values program, the next mayor should move the city from where we currently are. Bacon's the Values has some value. We want to accelerate that process. We want communities working together to rebuild the neighborhoods. And that gives us an opportunity to look at how we lower their property taxes. And let me just remind you all, under this administration, we've currently reduced our property tax by 14 cents, and if we stay on this trajectory, we'll be under $2 in less than 4 years. So we can build on that and look for other opportunities. I've begun, Congressman, looking at what other great cities are doing. When I think about the federal mandate that we're currently under, the infrastructure of our city that must be repaired, you know, so I looked at what Bloomberg is doing in New York and what Ron Emanuel did in Chicago, and we were looking at setting up an infrastructure trust so that we can get on a timeline for moving our city forward. I want you to know that I'm excited about this opportunity. I'm excited about moving our city forward and not backwards. I'm excited about working with all of our city council people, our president of the city council. I'm excited about working with our legislature. But I'm also excited about working with you, Mr. Congressman, because you have been a stalwart leader, not just in our city, not just in our state, but in the nation. Yeah. He has made a difference. Yes. And I've had the opportunity as the president nationwide to have a closer look, because you all get to see him when he's walking our neighborhoods and our communities. You all get to see him when he's pictured on television, speaking out and speaking up for us. But I get an opportunity to see him even closer. I've always admired you. I admire your work. And I want you to know that you will have a partner. Someone you can pick up the phone 24/7, because I plan to be a 24/7 mayor. I tell people, Congressman, that I don't have chick nor child, so I'll be married in fall. And I will be married to the city to the extent that I have no problem, whether it's talking to the businessman or the businesswoman, or talking to the child on the street, or the boy on the corner, or the young girl who's trying to figure out what her next step should be. That we will equalize wealth in the city. We will leverage opportunities in the city. We will partner together, because this is a great city. And again, I look forward to working with every single individual in this city. My promise is to be a great mayor, to be the greatest mayor this city has ever had. And one of the things that you said, Congressman, is that I believe that every single experience I've had to this point, whether it's graduating from Morgan State University with a master's degree in business, working as a banker, helping minority businesses expand and grow in the city, dean and director of Strayer Business College, but working with the city council, working with the state legislature, and now the opportunity to work for all of our people in our city. I will move our city forward, and I will work with you, and I promise you that while there have been good mayors of this city, I'll be the greatest mayor of this city.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you. Thank you for getting up. We left Annapolis at 1 o'clock this morning, because you all know how when you wind down. Right, but that $290 million, and I want to thank you too, because what the congressman did, which you probably don't know, because he did it without any fanfare, he just came to Annapolis, and he spoke to the Senate, and he spoke to the state legislature, to the House, and he said, I just want to thank you. And so we thank you. Thank you.
Most definitely.
So everyone, the congressman has to go, but the senator's going to remain.